Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited to be sharing with you this recipe that I've been creating for a while now. It was one of those that the first time it tasted so good, so it only needed minor tweaks. So I'll be sharing with you how to make an NYC thick, chewy and soft Lotus Biscoff and white chocolate cookie. It is so good, has to be one of my favorites, and I'll be showing you how to make it. I've been wanting to make a Lotus Biscoff cookie, chewy, thick, but I couldn't find any vegan recipes online with what I wanted. So that called for one more option to make my own recipe. So this is so good. It's not simple or easy, I could say, but it's not hard either. So it's manageable for even a new baker as well. So I definitely recommend you try it out. First off, what you need to do is make 1 tablespoon balls of Biscoff spread. Obviously it's hard to make it into a ball shape, although that doesn't really matter in the end. So just put some blobs of Biscoff spread, and we're going to make 12 blobs to go in the center of our cookies. We are going to freeze these, let them set for a bit, and they're going to go in the center. So while these are setting in the freezer, we'll be making our dough. First off, start with a 1/3 cup plus 2 tablespoons of vegan butter or spread. I recommend you use butter or vegetable fat. That's also 85 grams. Then add a 1/4 cup of Biscoff spread, so 95 grams of that, and you're going to mix these together with a whisk. So just combine them. They both should be quite soft at room temperature consistency. We don't want your butter to be like melted in the microwave or anything. So it should come together to create this glossy kind of creamy texture. Then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, so that's 36 grams of that, and 1/2 cup of white sugar, 85 grams. These different sugar ratios really help with the texture of the cookie too. Then add 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, nutmeg, and any other spices that you want to include, plus 1 tablespoon of vanilla essence. You're going to mix these together well using a hand whisk, not like an electric one, and eventually it should come together like this. The next steps you won't really need this whisk for because it's going to be forming a dough. So mix them all together and you should have this batter-like consistency, not too thick. Then we're going to add in 1½ cups plus 2 tablespoons, so a bit more, of plain flour or all-purpose flour into our bowl, followed by 3/4 teaspoons of baking powder and a 1/3 teaspoon of baking soda or bicarbonate of soda. Add 3 teaspoons of corn flour or cornstarch and a pinch of salt. That's all of our main ingredients. Use a spoon to kind of mix these things together, not completely, and then you're going to get in with your hands to form a dough. But before you do that, to kind of help it all come together, we're going to add 4 tablespoons of soy milk or any plant-based milk, which will help the dough come together. So start off with a spoon and then get in with your hands, and you want to form a good consistency dough that you can kind of knead and roll into a ball, as you can see in this video. Now this recipe requires a lot of freezing and kind of setting, but if you see, while we're making this recipe, that was sufficient time for the Biscoff blobs to kind of set in the freezer anyway, so there's not too much waiting required. So next we're going to add in a handful of Biscoff biscuits, Lotus Biscoff biscuits, kind of some crushed, some large pieces. It's up to you how many you want to add into this. Add a variety of sizes and some vegan white chocolate chopped up. Then you're going to fold this into your dough, and that's it for the dough. Once everything is combined well, you should have a consistency like this. It kneads together. It's not too stiff or too loose. Now that our dough is ready, we can get our Biscoff blobs out. So they are pretty much set by now, so they're a bit more easier to handle with. What we're going to start off is get a bit of dough, press it together in your hands a bit. There's no specific size, but your dough should make 12 Biscoff cookies. Press it down, and then in the center of that, we're going to add in one of our blobs. This is for a nice Biscoff center. And then add another blob on top of dough. A lot of blobs here, and we're going to mix this together. Obviously, if you find there's not a lot of biscuit or white chocolate in it, you can just add it in, but we're going to form doughs like this and then line them up in a tray or something to store them in, repeat this 12 times to create 12 medium-sized cookies. And remember, these will spread in the oven. So create balls like this. However, if you want more of a NYC style cookie texture or look to it, you can create dents in the ball of dough, so it doesn't have to be perfectly round, because that gives it a nice look as well. So as you can see here, I've kind of pinched the edges, so then when the cookie flattens out, it won't be completely flat, it will have like bumps in it, although it doesn't make a massive difference. So repeat this 12 times to form 12 balls, and then we are going to put these into the fridge or freezer to set for around half an hour or longer if you put them in the fridge. So while you're doing that, you could just clear up and everything. You don't need to wait more than half an hour, but what I did here is I set these in the freezer overnight. And that is a good thing about making cookies, is that you can put them in the freezer, and then whenever you feel like a craving for one, you can just get them out and then bake them in the oven. So you can store these for quite a while. Spread them out on a large tray because they'll spread, so leave enough space in between, and then we're going to bake these in the oven for 15 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. Make sure your oven is preheated. Let them cool properly, and then your cookies are ready. You can see how delicious they look. They're not completely flat cookies. They have a nice texture to them, some bumps, and that is preferably my style of cookies. They look great, they taste great too, and I really recommend you try them out. If you do, then please do comment down below how you found it, and if you suggest any more cookie recipes, I can come up with recipes for those as well to share with you. So let's have a look inside the cookie. This cookie is thick, it is soft, but also has a lot of chewy parts, and the outside is crispy too. In the center you can see Biscoff spread as well. However, if you want them inside melted, just keep the balls in the fridge for a little bit less time, and there you have it. So that was how to make these cookies. I really do hope you try them out. If you'd like proof that they're good, my friends won't stop asking for me to make more. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.